Alright everyone, I want to thank you so much for your patience. We are ready to go with tonight's D&D on Lionhead Gaming. It is Thursday, which means it's time for some Song of Rapture. Just give me 1 second though, we are suffering a brief audio issue. Having some audio issues. So, like I was saying, it is time for some Song of Rapture, because it is Thursday on Lionhead Gaming. And thankfully we have the whole group here tonight, so we all get to play and enjoy in some of the wonderful experiences that we have on Thursdays. So, without further ado, Monsieur Omen, what do you have for us tonight?
Valiant Vanguard. They were in the early morning of the following day with a deadline ahead of them, marked by the eventual chiming of the great clock tower in this small haunted town of Garen's Well. But what led up to those events is not my story to tell. Can someone tell me what happened last time on the Song of Rapture?
Sure thing. Previously on Song of Rapture, the Valiant Vanguard stood within a church hidden beneath the town of Garen's Well, where they would speak to Saras, a man whom Gregory met earlier that day. Here they learned that this group of Malar worshippers were known as the Seeker's Pact, who were drawn to this town due to a secret it's holding, one which they think they've closed in on. There was a reason the creatures from the Shadowfell were seeping into this town, and all they were certain of is that it had something to do with Dr. Gelner. But those they've sent to scout further have disappeared, not to return out of that clock tower that he calls his home. Samantha saw an opportunity to join forces with the Seeker's Pact to help uncover what the source of this disruption is and how to stop it. Saras would accept, but only if one of them bore the mark of Malar, the same curse that those within the pact had decided to keep. Gregory, searching to atone for killing members of their group, innocent people, stepped forth to bear this burden. He did, however, encircle both of them in Avandra's light so that they could speak truth and know that neither side were going to deceive the other. It was in this zone that Saras revealed everything his group had learned about the Doctor, that he may be hiding something about himself within the shadows, and that his closest friend in the town was the mayor. After accepting the mark, the Valiant Vanguard went back upstairs to the Church of Sune, where they would rest for the night. Persephone, eager to take matters into her own hands, spent first watch meditating, trying to initiate a state of lucid dreaming so she could be in control of the dreamwalking that has happened on and off since Thistle. After some time, she found herself in a familiar void, staring at a dreamy scene of a young Gelner playing the piano and guiding the hands of a small Luna. The moment Persephone spoke, our sorceress immediately became aware of her own dream state. Together, they learned that Gelner's aversion to sunlight was because it, in fact, may have caused harm to him, and that his lab resided in the basement of his home. However, they could not find exactly where it would be. All they knew is that the entrance could be hiding along one of the walls of a room used for storage. We rejoined the Vanguard in the morning, each going their own way to gather information surrounding the Doctor. But they've only have until 2:30. What will our heroes learn? Find out tonight as we write our next chapter in Song of Rapture.
Alright, well done. Give yourself some DM inspiration.
Yes.
Okay, and there was also just one small other thing that happened considering an important member of this group who recently bore a curse. Now feeling a strange sensation overtaking him. Does he want to share what happened during him on that session?
Yeah, as we went down to talk to Saras, as Persephone mentioned, there was a heavy burden that weighed on Gregory's heart, even though he wasn't quite sure what exactly to make of it. As last time around, I'm sure you're aware, we came to the aid of some innocent bystanders in the street being attacked by shadowy beasts, and what seemed like being attacked by wolves as well. So we cut down the wolves. After the fighting was over, realized they were not exactly just wolves. Their forms started to shift, and even one that had its neck cut in twain by Gregory's sword started to shift and show of very peculiar style of hair and eyes, whitened hair and golden eyes. Something that was shared by Saris, and they were not beasts at all, but men. Monstrous, but it seemed like putting pieces together, realizing that they were not the party's foes. They seemed to actually have been protecting these women. So, when it came down to talking to Saris, to trying to learn more of what was going on here, learning that this group, these followers of Malar, were hunting down whatever evil was here, much like many of the righteous warriors throughout the land, even though Malar not exactly known for it. Well, Gregory, the only thing he could think of was to try to atone for what he did. He took innocent life because of his eagerness, because of his anger. He didn't stop to think. And when it came to a point of making a deal, to make a promise to aid them, and to make payment for what we did, Gregory obviously offered himself. And that payment was to be marked in a strange way by a mark of Malar, a promise and a seal, a curse that would make him continuing the task to end the evil in this town before the curse was relieved, or he would be forever marked by Malar, this horrible gash on his shoulder and upper neck or lower neck that would constantly surge with pain if he was not continuing his hunt. It seemed to shift the nature of, well, his holy power, that gives him the power of the light of the gods, into shifting to the strange pale blue of moonlight, and even changing the features of his once great and mighty steed to something that looked sickly and ragged. And it seemed like there's only one solution for Gregor to be freed of this, but it's a burden that he's willing to take, pittance that he's willing to pay.
Okay. Give yourself also some demon inspiration if you don't have it. Okay. As indeed, we return this time on the morning of Friday, October 5th. The party having reconvened after their pretty strenuous night and tense meeting with these strange, underground, hidden, secret-seeking lycanthropes. Each of them sort of dividing themselves up either into groups or into individual tasks, as it seemed like there was still more to learn about this situation, but they gave themselves a time limit. At least about 2 o'clock, possibly 2:30 at the latest. They would reconvene, gather their information, and make the next step, because currently, time may be of the essence. So we find ourselves in Garen's Well about 7 in the morning or so. Even though it's daytime, there's still this hanging shadow that looms over this small town. The clouds above are no longer this dark, almost navy color. They're more of a light gray. The whole town seems to be devoid of most color, as a hanging overcast sort of looms over the entire area. And all around, the rain has finally stopped. You can see just these large, shimmering, silver-colored puddles, just sort of almost like small ponds gathered around this place. Hoping to dry, but considering how the townsfolk have spoken about these incidents, likely more rain will come. What are you guys doing?
Persephone's gonna head straight to the clock tower.
Okay.
Ditto.
Believe. Luna as well.
Gregory is hanging back at the old church of Sune, as he's sort of just trying to gather his thoughts as his mind is racing. Wasn't able to sleep very well last night, and he's just not sure if he's going to be of any help. It seems like people are trying to investigate, be quiet, negotiate with some people, and he does not think he's going to be any help in any of those situations. Not the way he is.
And Samantha is heading to go see the mayor.
Okay. What are you up to, Javen?
What did Jordan say?
He's going to the mayor.
Oh. Why is everyone so quiet?
I do not know.
I don't know.
Uh,
Your speakers low?
I don't think I'm wearing speakers. Whatever,
Just
seems
take
to
Alright.
the
fix
speakers,
itself.
tape them to your
So,
ears.
yeah, it
Yeah,
seems
they-
that Persephone, Luna, and Quill are heading off towards the lab. It seems they may have a plan to gather more information directly from the source. Samantha is heading out to go speak with the mayor. It seems like he wants to talk to them, especially after you guys had basically saved some townsfolk from some strange monstrosities during the night. And Gregory, having to deal with quite a bit over the last, few hours, he's gonna hang back and sort of stay, keep watch. Seems like this is a pretty saint place, so
Yeah, Javen was gonna go and head towards the tavern, try to investigate. Not investigate, but sort of ask around the people after loosening up with some drinks to see if he can figure out anything about the other attacks at night.
sure. All right. 1 second. Okay. So yeah, about 7 o'clock, you guys sort of, I'm assuming you guys are communicating everything you're doing, not just getting up and leaving. So everyone has an idea of where each other is going. Okay.
Correct.
And with that, the party is going to split up for some time. Again, it's a small town, a lot smaller than Oakwell, so it's not too hard to cross, and especially with the lights now the loose sunlight peeking through the clouds and sort of giving this silver light to the entirety of Garen's Well, it's easier to navigate, easier to see through. And yeah, you guys sort of make your separate way. As we'll start, the closest one among you, we'll go with Javen. As Javen, you make your way back down towards a familiar place, a place you spent a bit of time at, but kind of recalling now as you head there, you did buy some rooms to sleep here and didn't really quite fulfill that role, but hey, you got a little exciting adventure in the night as you find your way back to this sort of small, quaint, and rustic-looking tavern known as the Mangy Hound. And inside, it seems like even during the day, there's quite a bit of life in here. Not quite excitable, mostly quiet and muffled. Looks like some townsfolk wearing some generally nice-looking outfits, just some of it may be rugged from the weather. Others look like they're just working hands from the farm. They have these dark leathers on and overalls and dirtied gloves, most of them smothered in mud. And of course, you see, we're still working working as a barkeep, rather, is the sort of mangy-looking man with sort of a thumb-shaped head, sort of patches of red hair on top of it, and a strangely almost disheveled beard and mustache upon his face, as you see the barkeep known as Dutch. He turns his sort of sunken eyes into you when you see when you walk in, sort of make an entrance with your steps, and gets a glass ready, remembering that last time you ordered quite a bit. Anything you want to do in particular?
So these guys just look like farmhands and regular people.
For the most part, they look a little rugged.
In Javen's infinite knowledge, it's probably be mostly the guards that he'd want to be interrogating, probably. God.
It could be the guards have seemed if there's anyone in town from your experience that seems to have some direct connection to the Dr. Eric Gellner, the guards seem to be pretty close. When you guys first arrived in town, you were not only escorted by one of the guards, but one of the guards actually entered his abode, supposedly to speak with him. Not too many people can just walk into someone's workshop or house and just get their information without some sort of a legal, something getting in the way. So possibly the guards. You're looking around. You looking around for a guard?
Basically. Although I wasn't really looking for information on Gellner. I just assumed that the rest of the party's going to be down for that, but more looking into the attacks on the women from the wolves.
Okay, gotcha. Yep. Give me Actually, no, you can probably tell you're a pretty good people person, especially with your little bit of boost to your charisma from being a dragon boy. Looking around in the group, you do see some of the men who look like they're just sort of wearing worn leathers. Some of them sitting down. The ones by this looks like now an empty sack of coins and looks like a splayed out sheet. Looks like they're writing down something, plans or such. They almost look like other farmers until you get a better look at them and you can see their boots, although dirtied, are a bit better kept. Their leathers aren't just work leathers. They look like pieces of armor that have been somewhat disheveled and taken apart, just so that looks like these men can relax. You can tell that at least the men over here are likely maybe guards, or maybe they're just retiring from a night shift. But they look a little tired and a little lost, as some of them are staring into their mugs of piping hot mead.
Probably not too talkative, maybe.
And just look a little tired.
I'm sure I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll waltz on over there. Sort of having a stark contrast to the gray skies out there. Sort of smile and a warm sort of, I guess, demeanor about me. So I'll head on over to the guard.
Okay. Yeah. With your display of sorts, and everyone here is kind of sullen and quiet. It's a rainy morning, and people are in a bar drinking. Can't be the happiest tone. And then here comes this beam of sunshine himself, Javen, stomping in, very carefully with a big smile on your face. You see one of the men turn your way and kind of give you an odd eye as you approach. As you are definitely a sore thumb sticking out in this town of mostly humans and seemingly dreary folk. Well, you look happy to be here in the morning. What brings you here? You got a drink?
Sure.
Go up to Dutch, he'll get you something.
I was just wondering why the long face. Long night, huh?
It's been a long night, just finally getting off of work. Another one of those attacks happened. You didn't run into those, what'd they say they were? Dogs, wolves? Things coming out and biting at you?
Some of my friends did, but we were able to fend them off. There were a couple of girls last night that were attacked.
Oh yeah, we heard.
Yeah,
You
that
know
was
'em?
us. Oh,
Oh,
we don't know the girls, but we helped out.
we appreciate that. We certainly try our best to keep these people safe, but when those damn things coming out of the dark, kind of hard to catch them before they start sinking teeth into people. But we appreciate you, stranger. Hey, Dutch, get one of these men a drink here. They're the dragon one. Oh, okay. I'll get two. As he goes down and pulling out two bottles. Here, have a seat. Have a seat, son.
Son. Yeah.
As he sort of lets you sit down next to the table. And again, you can see as you're talking to them, sort of bringing up the topic, they seem to be a little bit in better mood as they are engaging with a bit more conversation. I don't know, maybe just you bringing some of that sunlight into here. That person who always wakes up in the morning, praises the sun and all the glory, does all of his stretches, and now brings some of that sunlight into the bar. Seems like it's actually kind of bringing up the mood, sort of a Javen style.
As I bring it back down, we're talking about murder.
Murder.
As yes, indeed, I would tentatively, slowly bring in the conversation so as to not bring that sort of topic into the conversation to try to not scare them off and try to ruin the mood. It's like, yeah, we actually helped them out. Is there any way we can help them out and all that stuff? Like, yeah. Has there been any other attacks lately?
Attacks are kind of sporadic. Mostly at night, obviously. Seems to be most of the problems in this town happen at night. Only thing I could say is if you can be everywhere at once, you could probably keep the people safe, or what you could do, I suppose, is help keep them lanterns dry. When the rain comes down, some of the heat dies down too. Some fog rolls in and it makes it difficult to keep the place lit. I think these things, if they coming out of the dark, as long as everyone had a torch in hand or a lantern that's well covered, I ain't gonna be bothered by them.
Yeah, they seem to just pop out of the shadows.
That's what we've been hearing.
Seems like the light deterred them. That's why how the girls attacked. Although I did hear a bell. Is that like a warning?
Well, it's the town bell. When something's going on, when there's trouble, we want everyone to know. Bell rings, spears are drawn, armor's donned. We get men on the ground, at least as fast as we can.
And it seems these attacks come so fast. It's not enough sometimes.
Yeah, it's a strange situation. We got people coming out at night to go give blood to the doctor for his good cause, but when they do, well, they risk getting attacked.
Good cause.
Oh, you ain't heard? Doctor's working on a project, I guess, for that there, what do they call it down there? Crossway. Some people got sick with some sort of metal disease or something.
Yeah,
They need blood.
adamantine poisoning.
Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah, he's been gathering blood from people for quite a while now, actually. Think he'd have enough by now, but man keeps asking for more. Listen, I don't understand medicine.
Huh. Huh.
Like, you thinking of donating?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
I mean, good causes and all that.
Yeah.
How long has the doctor been here?
I can't
All
say
your
for
life?
certain. I've lived here for the past 45 years, which is how old I am, by the way. And
Like, hold my hands up like, no, I'm not one to judge.
and as far as I know, he's always been here. Man, I think I saw silver hair on his head at one point, but man looks just the same. Must be that medicine. Doing him well.
Maybe you should take some.
Yeah, well, I ain't a huge fan of doctors and needles, but he's a good man. He's a really good man.
Yeah. And when did these attacks stop happening?
It's hard to say. The attacks began maybe a month ago, but people were saying there was things running around in the dark before then. Well, that's just normal here. You're not from around here, are you? This place is. There's always something creeping and crawling around. Usually it's just doors rattling or whispers around. You got spirits hanging around this place. Damn town's haunted, but harmless. At least until recently.
Shadow's always out the quarter in your eye, huh?
It always seems to be the case.
Huh.
But listen, if you're thinking of going to donate to the doctor, man don't get out in the day too much. I think he fried his brain working all through the night and sleeping all through the day. He's mostly a night man.
Maybe you should change that for the benefit of the others trying to donate their blood.
Well, must be hard work then. Keeping himself working busy. Hey, I feel like I talked to one of you earlier. You one of them lot from Oakwell?
I flew in with them, yeah.
Hey. I was meaning to tell him, if you go back there sometime, can you talk to my brother? At least say hi. His name's and you can see him sort of like pinching the side of his head as he's sitting there smiling, and it sort of stops and goes blank on his face. Damn it again. Sorry about that. Never mind.
You forgot his name?
I know what he looks like. I can't. It's like it's getting all cloudy. And you can see the guy next to him goes, It's just these long nights we work, and I'm getting kind of the same way. Sometimes I forget my daughter's name. He goes, yeah, that guy next across. I forget my wife's name every night. But yeah, it's been kind of hard to actually keep in mind.
As I look from the table to the table, trying to put on the facade that I'm not concerned by it. Oh man, these guys are forgetting names? That doesn't seem. Maybe the alcohol, huh?
Yeah, long night and a good drink is gonna mess your mind up. Maybe we should go see the doctor. Yeah, we go see the doctor. He's a good man. He could probably give us something to help with this. Get our minds back on track. I always feel more clear when I go see him.
Yeah. Keep a lantern on you.
You too, friend.
I'll drop a few gold pieces before stepping out, ruminating on what I just learned.
Okay. Making your way out the door, you do hear some hurried footsteps behind you as this sort of short man with mangy hair comes out with a bottle in each hand. Oh, you want your drink? All right.
They just wave to the men on the table.
Oh, all right. Here you go, men. Looks like the dragon has passed his drinks. Oh, I'll have to restock today. Oh, yeah. That's all you're doing, Javen?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Make your way out of the tavern. Didn't take too much time. Only maybe about 20 minutes to actually get there, and then maybe just linger around for a bit, just casual conversation coming out. Only been about maybe 30 minutes or so in total. And that... We will cut over now to someone heading a bit closer. Samantha, you would be making your way across town, and eventually, maybe past some of the buildings, you'd see some of the guards. I'm assuming you probably talk to them, have them try to guide you over to where the actual mayor's estate is, looking for whatever they're called, the lynches.
Yes, I could certainly wouldn't turn down an escort. All directions.
Yep. The guards look pretty tired, but they do recognize you from the night a few hours ago. It seems like that they're more than accommodating. That considering the situations, it definitely makes sense that, yeah, as early as we could, get you in the mayor's house. And they lead you up to this pretty decent-looking building. It's not quite the size of the laboratory you first saw when you entered Garen's Well, but it's a considerably sizable, looks like estate. It looks like maybe it was probably built for maybe a couple hundred years ago, maybe just within the last century or so. Kind of a style that is going out of style. The sort of sharp-pointed, Gothic-shaped roofs, like dark tiles, and the walls are it looks like it would either be old wood or something that's clearly out of date now. Something that almost looks grimy, but perhaps in the time people were into this like soft, pale wood walls. As you come to the Lynch estate, basically surrounded by this iron black gate covered in these dark and twisted vines. They let you past, and eventually they make you to the front gate. It doesn't seem like there's any attendants around. Kind of reminiscent of Oakwell in their very simplified mayor's estate. Although you don't see a haggard helping hand, trying to clean the whole place. It just seems like it's mostly just a handful of people. And when the door is answered after the guards basically knock on it for you, the door's open and you see this very well-dressed woman, short, pudgy, like a crop of bright silver hair and big round cheeks, almost like a grandmotherly-looking woman, invites you in and takes you to the back in this fine-looking dining room. And you can see a man currently sitting at his desk. It looks like he'd be sitting at the actual dinner table within this room, but instead he's actually sitting at looks like a workshop desk, sort of nursing a plate full of something. Looks like some seared sausages and looks like all sorts of savories that have been cooked in a decent meal for, I guess, a noble. And sitting in the chair, now turning your direction, you see this thin man who really isn't quite the most attractive or, I guess, the most noble-looking man you could describe. His skin has this sort of sheen upon it, almost like a layer of oil or grease. Again, something a bit outdated in these times. He wears this really thin, nice suit, long coattails coming down to the middle of his thighs. He has a high, rising white collar, and his hair, although the hairline itself seems to be receding almost at the top and middle of his head, is all blackened and greased back. And he turns to face you with this very thin, gaunt-looking face and a very well-trimmed mustache. As you stand before a man who is introduced to you, both by the guard and by the attendant, as being Lord Lynch himself. The man sort of puts his knife and fork down and turns your direction.
Oh, yes, of course. A hero of this town, here to see the mayor in his beautiful home. Come, have a seat, as he pulls up the second chair next to his desk. I hope you don't mind. I'm enjoying my meal.
No, not a problem. Are you drinking with it?
A drink? I'm still waiting for my drink, I am, yes, but that'll come in time. The hands are slow. I'm so sorry. Would you like something? I could offer you it. We have
We have sanguine-berry wine. We have elven reserve.
No,
We
no,
have
no.
wildfire prune.
Let me, Lord Lynch, as Samantha pulls out her exquisite goblets and the rum runner's choice. Let me provide a drink to our collective health.
Well then, very much appreciated.
Of course.
What do you,
Just going to be watching you pour out this drink in these very, very impressive goblets. You can just tell immediately, even though you don't have maybe the sharpest eyes or maybe the greatest intuition, but or I guess insight. But you can just see this man's tiny little, almost like rat-like eyes bulge open widely as he sees these very exquisite-looking goblins just coming out of your inventory as a traveler. So he's watching pretty intent.
So I just fill up his goblet first and pass it to him. I think you'll find it quite delightful. Something I've picked up on my worldly travels.
I see it's quite a dark brand. Certainly.
To our health, as he tries to lift up his goblet and sort of graces it with yours, and then takes a drink. And oh wow,
That's good. Little strong though.
It is.
Okay.
Definitely something to sip and reminisce with, not chug it back.
No checking. I mean, I certainly could, but not during breakfast. Oh, okay. Well,
he turns to look at you. You can see already there's like sweat pouring this down side his face. Seemed like a man of great constitution.
I must thank you for your efforts. The gods told me as much detail as they could describe with their simple mind. Confronted the creatures that have been plaguing this town in the darkness, and you drove it back. Quite impressive indeed. Yes, quite. I must say, would you mind staying here in Garen's Well? You could be well paid as a hand of the Lynches. A personal guard of sorts.
That is not too disagreeable, but unfortunately is not the station of the valiant vanguard. We go where we are needed, and right now it seems, though, you do need us, and we would be happy to oblige in your efforts for a limited amount of time. You see, we don't necessarily guard towns. We go to places like this that have issues, and we correct them rather efficiently, and more often than not, better than anyone else could.
See. So, hands for hire, but would there be any way for, I don't know, a man with this amount of money to ensure that work is kept for quite some time?
You could certainly put us on, say, retainer, but you would need to reach out to us in times of need in Oakwell.
Definitely worth considering. Well, to not beat around the proverbial bush, as it were, there is a task I believe you are, quite aware of now, with your hands having been dirtied by it. We were given quite a decent payment by Crossway, the people in the Izon district, to supply a certain amount of medicine for their sickness or whatever it is. But trouble has been brewing. It seems the great doctor has had some issues in gathering the supplies over this time, and, well, we believe the darkness is due to that. But if you could beat it back, well, a pretty penny would be paid. I certainly would not be against throwing some coin where it is needed.
I'm very happy to hear that. If you don't mind, I do have a few questions. We just like to, really get to know, especially myself, the places that we work in and the people we work for, like yourself. I know Dr. Gelner is heading up the efforts in producing the medicine for that dwarven mining issue, the blood poisoning, but he seems to, from our meeting with him, to specialize in medicine revolving around blood. Is that right? He collects that from the town folk?
I believe so. Seems that everyone is quite keen on offering a piece of themselves for the good cause of the doctor. He says something about life from blood, blah, blah. Lots of strange medical pedantic language. It's not really my forte. I just simply pay the man and he does good work. He's a good man, that man. He's very good.
Earned your trust, it seems, if everyone is so keen to aid. For no compensation, I presume. People just donate.
Well, yes, I suppose so. It saves me a pretty penny having to offer, compensation for something such as offering blood. Something everyone produces for free. But, yes, he certainly does seem to bring out the best intentions of others.
So you think highly of him?
I think great things of Eric Gelner. I think he is an asset to this town worth protecting.
Definitely. He does seem to be your only doctor in town. What does your town do if he needs to travel?
Fortunately for us, Eric Gelner never needs to travel. He's perfectly content staying right here. He's even been offered positions in other villages and towns, healers of sorts, requiring his efforts, and, well, I think he's quite keen on staying right here.
He never leaves? But when I paid him a visit, he had so many marvelous things from around the world.
I believe it is what would he call it? The result? The symptom of kindness. You see, Eric Gelner brings out the best in people. He makes connections with all those who visit him. I'm certain if you met him yourself, you would feel a sense of companionship with him, certainly. And so such travelers who come through our town, as rare as that they may be, often find themselves offering things to the man. I don't know where he got all the things he got in there from, especially some of the strange-looking remains of creatures, but I do not privy or pry. I believe there may be a story in there that I would not like to hear.
Don't like war stories and the like, huh? So if he's been helping, caring for this place for quite some time, it seems.
Yes, actually, he's been in this town since I was a child, since my father was a child, since my grandfather was he's a very long-lived man. The result of medicine, I'm assuming.
It must be some very, very nice medicine.
He's certainly he's quite skilled in the art. Very long-lived life.
As you see him sort of like blink a little bit and then just go back to taking another sip.
I do not wish to impose insult upon you, but it's a very hearty drink for breakfast. I may retire this drink for now.
I will partake then, if you do not mind. If he has been around for so long, has he... Well, how do you say? Forgive me for asking, Lord Lynch, but the doctor is quite the fetching man. Does he have a wife or anything of the sort?
I do not privy on such things, but yes, he is quite a very well built and carved individual. But no, he's always seemed to be alone. Save for a while there, he had children. He was quite fond of taking in the youth and caring for them. He has many beds in that home, mostly for sick folk, but he has been using them to house children. But it seems an incident has left him without.
Incident? I heard that there was a ghastly fire not too long ago. Do you know what happened with that?
I only had arrived upon the scene far after the fire was, to the best of its ability, extinguished, although the remains were quite smoldering. some sort of strange dark magic caused a great black flame to take over the laboratory. It burned away the garden, burned away the earth, and most of the exterior was damaged, but fortunately the base of that place is quite well kept. Seems that the doctor was fortunately in the depths of his home and away from danger by the time the fire was extinguished, but it seemed that children at play were not so lucky. Had quite an effect on him. But he stays in good spirits, and he's been nothing but kind to us.
As he's like kind of pulling from memory to espouse this stuff, Samantha's just kind of watching, as best she can, his behavior and mannerisms. There are certain things he's been saying and certain repeated phrases that Samantha has heard now quite a few times from quite a few different people. And she's kind of on the mindset that maybe these people are being affected by something outside of their control. And she's just trying to look for any telltale signs of that sort of perhaps enchantment magic, maybe?
Give me either an investigation check or an arcana check. Using either your discerning eyes or using your knowledge.
We're going to go ahead and go with all that cool in-depth studying I've been doing.
Hey. Yep, watching this man, it seems like perhaps the drink has maybe had an effect on him at first. He was a bit, sort of very refined and calm, and eventually it seemed like his words loosened up a little bit, although still long and eloquent and often wrong used. You're sort of watching him like respond to your questions, and he responds with like this very, very elegant and decisive word choice, and his expression seems as inviting as it could be on a face like that. But every once in a while, you do notice his brow might twinge a bit. He might linger on a few words, and his expression sort of falls. And it's very hard to discern whether or not it is the use of magic. Such things are possible. Some people do have a telltale sign when they are affected, especially if maybe that effect is being pushed, like whatever is causing them to be fallen under some sort of spell or control is maybe being challenged. But honestly, even with your understanding and very recently studied understanding, his reactions aren't particularly telltale. Hard to say.
Gotcha. One second. Now, in terms of compensation for this shadowy hound incident and bringing that whole trouble to a close, what do you think would be a fair offer for my organization?
Well, you are doing such a great cause for this small town and its people, as well as those in Crossway. If you help us, you're helping us help people. A good cause I think even the doctor would appreciate. But fund-wise, ensuing that several people get their medicine and we are compensated for giving them the rest of the medicine, we would find it fair that if you can possibly hold off these strange biting shadows until we have enough supplies, what would say a flat sum of 1,000 gold?
I would perhaps be so inclined to add a contingency. You see, the Valiant Vanguard, because we travel so far and wide, when it comes to certain issues, especially ones that threaten your wonderful citizens, we like to make sure things are taken care of definitively. And simply holding off the hounds, I think, would be a worthwhile cause. It can be difficult to ascertain what it is that's causing that problem and put an end to it, but that is where we come in. If we could provide definitive proof and assurances that you will no longer be dealing with that problem, we would ask for a bit more than that.
Can you guarantee that with sword and might you can drive back these beasts for good? I hope you know this is a small and haunted town. Such a task. It is an amazing one to attempt, but I fear for your ability to do so.
Well, like I said, it is completely contingent on us providing sufficient proof that the issue has been resolved permanently when it comes to those shadowy hounds and their source. And we are talented and knowledgeable on matters such as these hauntings and the likes, a connection to spirits. We have experts in our group that can be quite handy with issues such as these.
I certainly understand. I'm not a big man of magic myself. Can't cast it, too complicated. But I do understand that there are forces and efforts used by those who wear the cloth who can do such a thing, drive out such spirits. But at any rate, listen, if you can do such a thing, if you can promise that you could remove the haunt on this town permanently, I'd be willing to give you an estate.
Well, we will certainly look into it then. Other than that, there is still more information just about the town in general that we like to just have for reference. This how long has this place been around, really? I come from quite far south, and so my exposure to places in, well, the northern reaches of Mobia have been fun.
How long the town has been here?
Mhm.
Well, my history lessons are quite strong, but early in the morning and a stiff drink it might muddle the mind. But I can try and stretch out a little bit of my brain matter for the task. Ow. Well, that was my brain. Well, the town has been formed, not quite as Garen's well. That was quite recently, within the last 60 years or so. Back when my grandfather was lord. No, before that, the town was known as Evergreen. It's been around for several hundred years. I want to say at least 2, 3 or so. Forged on how did he say? Forged on a great green hill where once was a terrible castle that was destroyed, and now there lies Evergreen grown upon it. And from there, it's been around for quite some time, and the Lynch family has always ruled since then.
I see. But you made mention of its transition to Garen's well. I've been meaning to ask about that. What's the story
well-
behind that change?
Well, it supposedly there's a child by the name of Garen. I was not even alive when this happened, so the details are hazy. A child by the name of Garen stumbled upon a well, as children often do, fell down. No one could save him, drowned. Then town got a little dark from there, and yes, they named the town after him because doing a terrible thing, my grandfather.
Did that seem like he was just sort of just grabbing at words to say and get through what it was I was asking about, or did he seem compelled, or like he just didn't care?
It seemed like he wanted to hurry through that as fast as he could. His eyes are sort of darting to and fro. Just trying to get all the information out there and just kind of turn away.
Peculiar. And what would you say this whole haunting business in Garen's Well started? Shortly after the poor, regrettable death of Garen?
It certainly seemed when the dark clouds began to hang overhead. And say that the boy's spirit was called others here. Poor unfortunate soul and all that.
You alright?
I'm fine. That drink, it'll do heavy for me. Doesn't pair well with a sausage, I can't say.
Interesting. Well, other than that, are there any other places in town besides the well that are steeped in any history or places like monuments or places of significance in Garenswell?
Well, there is the church. What's left of the church, the Silver Light Circle, is quite a nice place. But well, ever since the dark clouds began to hang over and the spirits began to spread, and the church did their best, alas, such things cannot be so easily removed, as I have said. And so they've sort of disbanded. And besides that, town's quite simple. We got our workshops, we got our simple workers. Besides that, the only wonder we have left is the doctor's laboratory and the great clock tower that our esteemed builder happened to engineer.
No shrines or anything of that nature? Abandoned or old?
None that I know of. If there had been shrines, they would have been in the church, and well, it's quite in a state of disarray. I often believe that even a hand may have torn away with some of the relics inside there. Can't find some of the reliquaries, I guess. Silvers.
Hmm. Well, it is quite the interesting town, and we will see what we can do about the issues we've discussed. Lord Lynch, I appreciate your time, and sorry about the drink.
No trouble. Listen, you would be doing us a great favor by driving out this filthy darkness once and for all. I do not wish to speak ill of your skills, but if only driving them away long enough to keep the medicine flowing and keep everything as it was, it would be greatly appreciated, and we would be willing to compensate fully.
Lord Lynch, do you know of the Isle of Stroma?
Of course I know the Isle of Sturma, a beautiful little place out on the coast. A lot of long trees with beautiful fruit that you can crack open and pour out the delicious nectar. And yeah, no, your face is telling me no. That's not Sturma. I don't know the island of Sturma.
I think it might be well on its way to returning to such a beautiful place, but no, that little elven isle was completely overrun with undeath and vile, shadowy creatures. Lost, could not be saved by the best efforts of those who twist magic in ways that you or I could never understand. Yet, the valiant vanguard sailed there aboard their own personal little boat and put a stop to all of that, purging it of undeath and ridding horrible spirits from that place. Now that isle is warm again, things are growing there again, and maybe people will be able to live there again. We will see what we can do about this haunting.
You're more than willing to give your greatest shot at it. I'll be happy to watch and see the results.
Good. Well, again, I thank you for your time.
And I thank you for your efforts. Jeeves, go on and let her out. One of the guards walks forward, takes you by the hand, sort of guides you to the door, and would lead you out, unless you have anything else you want to do or say.
I power walk out. He does not lead me out by my hand.
Okay. Way out to... Last but not least, while Javen is carousing at the tavern and Samantha's having her meeting with the mayor, we come down to Persephone, Luna, and Quill making your way back towards the laboratory. Still early morning in Garensall. It takes about 30 minutes to actually get back to the lab. But again, easier to travel this time, especially with more daylight to see, more color to discern, and able to walk around puddles. And it seems like there's a whole lot of people walking around. It seems like people are still getting around in the morning. What are you guys doing?
What's your plan, Persephone?
Well, I was going to call upon help from Faye, see if they could scout through the clock tower. I'm still a little conflicted. I know Sarah said the source seems to be centered around him, but I wonder if he knows what he's doing or if it's an unintended consequence. And I know what I saw in his heart, but I've been deceived before by somebody that seemed to have pure intentions, so I need to be sure this time.
Luna, what do you want out of all of this?
Answers. I felt like that was pretty clear since coming here to find my parents. What have you paying attention at all, Quill?
You came here thinking that the man that you murdered was long gone. Yet he's alive. He misses you dearly.
Well, we don't know if it's actually her for certain. That's just an assumption, but we don't have anything concrete to say otherwise.
Well, I'll go get your concrete. So I'm gonna walk right up to the door and knock.
Pretty sure he's asleep. He doesn't go out during the day.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go in.
You can't just walk into random people's
that's
homes.
his house.
I'll knock
Also,
again.
Well,
I'll
go
distract
hide.
him. Go do your thing, Persephone.
I'm just gonna look up at Luna briefly. So,
Oh, Luna's walking away. She's
Okay.
gonna go find a tree to hide.
Persephone can go in the opposite direction and find herself a tree to sit by. But as she does, she's gonna hold on to her crystal and start speaking into it. My friends, I request your aid. Send me a team to quietly yet fearlessly scout and uncover the secrets hidden within that clock tower. Because I am going to conjure woodland beings. That's the wrong button.
Aw, snap! Be that great tree!
That's the button. And I am going for 6 creatures of CR 1/4.
6 creatures? Okay.
6.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. You can do 8.
I could do 8. Sure, let's do 8.
You do 8, but then 2 of them eat another one.
No, stop.
Makes sense. They're monsters. They're fey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
No,
Let's-
they're my friends.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. That's not right. Okay. And as you call upon this magic, speaking into your crystal, you can see it begin to glow and light up. And then from within, you can see that light building inside of it begins to separate into these tiny little motes of light that sort of sprout from it, almost like tiny little fireflies floating around. And the firefly's light becomes a little brighter and brighter, taking greater shape. The flapping becomes a bit louder until you are surrounded around your hands. There are 8 tiny little figures, similar to the creature you beseeched help from the other night. Although this time you see they're a bit different. They're not quite flowery and beautiful and shy. They're a bit more bold. They're tiny, only about like 6 inches tall, but they have these like 7-8 inch long wings, tiny little insect wings flapping quite quickly, keeping them flying around. Their bodies are worn in these tiny little straps of leather, ornately carved into looks like some sort of armor, although it only covers small parts of their body. And strapped to them it looks like these tiny little thorn-shaped daggers, or I guess daggers that are thorns, and a teeny tiny little bow. As you've talked to Arisop about these guys, they're very similar to pixies, although not quite as kind, more truth-seeking folk. Those who will charge into battle and fly away and charge into battle to save their friends, even though they're very tiny, as you summon a small squadron of sprites.
Oh my god, this is perfect.
As you see all of them line up, and one of them with very long hair tied back into a sharp pointed knot, like basically centers the row of them all and puts a very tiny hand to the front of his forehead. Sergeant Spit, awaiting orders.
Hello, Spit. We're searching for a source that's allowing darkness to leak into our world. It's hidden among that clock tower, surrounding the man that lives within. I want you to split up into 2 teams of 4. One would go into the basement, try to find the entrance to his lab, and search there for answers. And I want the other team search the rest of the clock tower. I was able to see into his heart, and don't know if he is a man of true intention or not. Find something that can convince us otherwise. Something concrete.
Investigation! I see. All right, men, you have your orders? Split up into two teams? Going up, going down, looking for clues. What exactly are we looking for? Something to prove him evil? What would that look like? A knife?
What would that look like indeed? That's a good question.
A weapon?
Well, he is a
You
weapon.
could have a weapon.
Certainly, a weapon. Items of magical power, if you can find
What
that.
if we had a piece of paper that said, I want to hurt people on it? Well, that would be...
Well, I do think that there was somebody that was once close to him. Perhaps if he has a picture of her, if you can find that and bring it to me, that would be lovely.
Certainly. Do you know what they look like? Do they have hair? Do they have
Yes.
wings?
Actually, I do. I'm going to pull out my amulet and I'm going to remember how I saw Luna in the dream the previous night of just a young Luna. I'm going to show it to them.
If you open up your locket, point in their direction, you remember that image you saw in that strange dream that you had a lot of lucid control over. The image sort of fogs up and fades and then returns and takes the shape of a tiny little girl.
A child. A child! All right, men. We're going to be looking for a picture of a child and maybe a knife or anything that seems suspicious. But we're going in quietly, I'm assuming?
Yes, of course. Do not let me
Fine.
see you. There have been others that have gone in there and they haven't come out. So, your safety is my priority.
All right, then. Hear that, boys? We're going in quiet, going in like ghosts. Ghost mode.
As you see one of them put their hand over their face and pull their hair over their own faces, and as they do, you can see like their body sort of shimmers and they're all gone. But all around you can still hear the little wings. Zzz, zzz. They all fly off towards the clock tower where Quill is still standing there waiting. You've been knocking a few times, Quill, and starting to wait. Nothing's really coming up. Nothing's really... You don't even hear the sounds of footsteps inside. It seems oddly quiet. And then eventually, you kind of get beset by someone. You do hear footsteps, a set of footsteps. He's come up beside you as a man wearing some worn leather, his muddy boots, comes up to you, adjusting his helmet on his head. Sir, can I help you? This is the doctor's abode.
No, I need to speak with him.
The man is likely in his workshop or sleeping at this time. He mostly sees visitors at night. Is this an emergency? Yes. Are you feeling ill? Are you wounded?
I have something that he'll want.
You mind telling me what that is so I can pass that on to him?
Tell him I'm here to give him elf blood.
All right. I'll pass it on. He may not accept it. He usually only takes in visitors at night, but I will let him know.
I'll wait here.
All right. Excuse me. As you see him reach down to his side and pull out like a set of, looks like a ring of keys, and one of them it looks like very small and intricate, a very short golden key. He sticks in the knob and twists and pulls, and door unlocks, and that's making his way inside.
I'll follow in after him.
Okay.
No, stop! We can't murder
As
people here!
he's starting to shut the door, and then big metal boot stops it. Man and when walks up, sir, you said you're going to wait outside?
I said I would wait here in the lobby.
No, this is his home. I'm not going to invite you into someone else's home.
I'm not
Stay
in
outside,
his
sir.
home. I'm
This
in
is his
door.
home. Sir, if you're going to be difficult, you're covered in a lot of armor, but we're going to have to talk about this.
How far away are they from that work?
About like 50, 60 feet. You guys are like in a set of some ruin-looking trees across a bridge, sort of watching this whole scene play out, and you're just somebody with better all of you have pretty good high passive perception, so you're just listening to most of the whispered ends of this conversation. You see Quill basically talking to a guard. Guard sort of motions indoors. Quill very insistent. Guy opens the door, starts to walk in. Quill just sort of grabs the door and pulls himself in after him.
For fuck's sake.
Persephone's gonna like lift up her rings, like, Quill, I think you're gonna start causing a commotion.
It's
Sir.
fine.
I'm going to ask you to leave.
Hurry up, young lad.
Okay, but first leave.
I'll wait right here.
You are going to leave the doctor's house.
So I'll just step out into the doorway, but I'll keep the door open. I want to make sure that you actually go and speak with him.
You can trust that I, a guard, will go speak to the doctor. Please leave this premises.
I'm not in the door. I'm like outside the door, but I'm leaving the front door open.
As he's gonna go and shut the door. Yeah, and you can notice, Quill. Give me an insight check. Yep, it just seems like as this guy is like maybe it's just because you're kind of encroaching and maybe possibly intimidating him. But like the more you start to impress yourself into the situation, he seems to be getting really upset, which is pretty normal, I suppose. You know, man's trying to go talk to someone in their house, and you're also sort of inviting yourself in. But you can see like as quickly as you start imposing yourself, his friendly demeanor immediately shifts, and he becomes just like sharp and hostile as he takes the door and just tries to shut it in front of you.
I'll let him shut it.
As it comes to shut in front of you, you can see Luna and Persephone watching all of this. You just see his cape sort of flutter as the door shuts in front of him. And then, yeah, so left by himself.
I bring up my rings, and I'm pretty sure I didn't link with Quill. Yeah, I'm going to say, Persephone, tell him that he's fucking stupid.
Persephone brings up her ring. Quill, Luna would like you to know that you're really fucking stupid.
It's called a distraction.
I guess he was creating a distraction.
As about maybe like 10 minutes or so pass, you're sort of waiting, Quill, maybe checking on the windows as best you can to see if he's actually going in there and actually talking to the doctor. And then again, finally you hear a sound. Door opens back up, you see the guard answering you. This time you're expecting like an angry face, but this time he seems a lot softer in expression. He was resting at the time, but very insistent on donating a bit of that blood. The doctor will see you if you are willing.
Of course.
Alright. If you don't mind, I'm going to stay in here in the lobby with y'all. Just for clarity and peace of mind. As he steps aside, basically gives you the doorway to walk inside and enter into the lobby. After a bit, you step inside. You do find that room again where you can see all sorts of trinkets and intricate objects sort of hanging from walls, and some of them, especially in the entryway, are sort of like housed under these, looks like a glass container, but some of the items actually seem like they've been sort of moved around or gone now. All that really remains in this place is this small glass vial with that spider covered in these sharp little spines in its little joints. And after a bit, heavy footsteps coming up the back stairs. More daylight peeking through these shrouded windows as you see Eric Gellner rise up the steps. His clothes are still neat, although it's really his face that seems a bit disheveled. He seems more gaunt in this moment. Perhaps he's been, as the guard said, sleeping and trying to catch up on his rest, and the weariness is definitely showing upon him. As he steps forward, and as the guard steps aside him, gives him a little salute and stands by the door, Eric Gellner turns to you.
There you are. Very insistent on this donation, are we?
The last time we spoke, Doctor, you seemed to be hurting in a way that medicine couldn't cure.
I didn't catch that. Everything froze.
The last time we spoke, Doctor, you seemed to be ill and hurting in a way that medicine couldn't cure.
Every man carries a burden in his heart. Is that why you're here?
You do so much for this village. Helping, healing. And I've seen so much in this world. And I've been able to help people heal. Not from the physical wounds, but by conversation.
And that is why you are here. And that is why you are waking me from my rest. To speak about pain in my heart.
I'm here because there's something just not quite right about this town. I'm
Yes,
here
it's-
because maybe my blood will help the people across way. But maybe you can tell me about her.
Roll me a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Well, I'm gonna use my DM inspiration to just roll it normal.
All right. All right. Look at you, Quill.
Ah, shucks.
As this man turns towards you, Quill, he's looking you up and down. It seems like, although Eric Gelner has been calm, quiet, and very hospitable in your last visit, maybe just perhaps the circumstances of your sudden, unexpected visit and conversation have sort of drawn something out of him. His eyes seem to hang heavier. These sort of soft red irises almost seem to be dulled, almost blackened. And his face seems thin, very thin, almost like he hasn't quite eaten some days. But now, as you're speaking to him, sort of tilts his head. Come, come.
I'll take you down to the workshop. We can talk there.
As he looks up to the guard standing by the door, and he just sort of waves him away.
That'll be all, my friend. Go continue your patrol.
Absolutely, Doctor. One second.
One second. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Never heard from again.
You see, Eric Gelner leads you down. It looks like you're currently on the main floor of the lobby. He leads you to the back of the room where he does always seem to enter in from. These set of steps that eventually lead down to a lower level. He keeps continuing downward. And as you walk down, you see like this is another floor, almost like between, almost not quite a basement, almost like a second subfloor. And you can see as you're walking down, you see lots of doors, like a wall of hallways, and all sorts of different entryways going to the lower parts of this place. You can see it looks like doors that some of them seem to be slightly ajar. You can see it looks like beds inside. Looks like maybe places for sick folk or wounded folk to rest. You could see a dusty old piano nestled into the corner, as well as all sorts of like looks like I don't know, kind of these like heirlooms, just sort of like keepsakes. Looks like things like drawings or paintings or like. But he continues past them, going further down these long winding steps until he reaches this lower level that seems to lead almost to a hard stone floor, pretty different from the original stone floor, or original wooden floor of this place, as you find yourself heading down deep into this.
So was it a straight shot, or were there like some turns?
Basically a straight shot.
Okay.
As he leads you down here to this sort of dark and decrepit looking room. It's kind of hard to see, actually, save for a small lantern of small flickering candlelight. But you see Dr. Gelner just leading you ahead.
You mentioned her. Tell me.
Oh yeah, you got no camera. I can do it right here. Ooh. There you go. As you step down to this area, it looks like it's a storeroom of sorts. You can see this large, like a cistern of water. It looks like it's been recently used, washed away from something. Large barrels filled with all sorts of sloshing liquid inside, and desks and tables covered in all sorts of beakers, chemicals, potions of sorts. As well, it looks like some sort of things maybe possibly used in science. You could see like some sort of glass vials resting over now dulled flames. You can see books stacked in great heaps. And in the back, you can see piles of boxes and crates and all sorts of things. Looks like it's, yeah, both a workshop and sort of a storage. As he motions you over to take a seat in this chair. Come.
Oh, that's a chair there.
Oh, yeah.
If you do not mind, please remove line shift. I cannot stick a needle through steel.
close. So I'll just pull off one of my gauntlets.
Yep, sort of slides off quite easily, actually, almost like you could twist it and pull the whole thing off at once. And you can see the doctor sort of pull up a stool and gather some of his supplies. He actually takes from the edge of this desk a long white coat and actually will sort of sit next to you, gathering his supplies.
Have you ever had someone so close to you, Elf? So much like you. They became a part of you.
Indeed. I had a comrade back home. We both were cut of the same vine, I think. Meant to be protectors, guardians, shields. We did everything together.
He must have been like family to you.
Family is blood. But this bond was not that of biological connection, no. It was deeper. Don't know if you would call it spiritual or mental. We could almost sense what each other was thinking. We would go out on patrols, and it's almost as if we knew exactly when and where we needed to be. He saved my life more than 100 times, and I saved his just as many. That's a bond that you don't easily break. Saving someone, truly the most noble profession.
And yet you broke yours.
I made a mistake. In some people's eyes, unforgivable. Especially in my own. What is a knight that breaks his oath to protect?
A man in steel armor.
As he starts gathering his supplies, he actually takes your arm and lays it out on this table. A bit gently, but also a bit roughly. So surprisingly, although his arms aren't quite as thick as yours as a well-trained elf, he's quite strong and lays his arm partially on the table. It's gathering supplies. You can see an assortment of long and thin, glistening, freshly cleaned needles that he starts to attach to these long drawing devices and syringes.
Tell me, Doctor. Who did you lose? Who was she?
She was my daughter. Part of me that I can never replace. The one person in this entire world who was like me. Lives in the darkness, forged from it, bathed in it. And yet her. She could walk in the day. She was moonlight, beautiful at night, impossible to see in the day, impossible to appreciate by anyone but me. She gave me something that I thought I would never have. A reason to keep moving. A reason to continue. I promised her many things, Elf. I promised her a castle, a great home, a big family, more than she had ever known before. And those who should have called her kin, who should have promised her such things, they abandoned her. Foul creatures they were. And yet, despite all my efforts, despite all I have done, I still lost her. The very thing that connects us. And all I have left is a small part of her. Part that I cherish. Part that maybe one day will bring us back together. As he slides a needle into your arm.
It's important to have something to remember those by. I have one as well. I carry it with me each and every day. To me, it's not only something to remember him by, but maybe it's foolish to think. I think it brings me good luck. I think somehow, some way, he's still watching over me. I think maybe your little girl is doing the same.
Perhaps. But it will not matter. Once I am done, it will not matter.
As he looks up at you, Quill, you can see his eyes sort of narrowing himself a little bit. Maybe he's just tired.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, lift my head up and listen.
Give me a perception check. Yep, it's faint, Quill. It's very faint, but you can. It almost sounds like
What was that?
the soft fluttering of insect or something.
Something's gotten in here. One moment.
As he sort of pulls a needle out of your arm, you can see like he's filled up a small vial full of it. As he looks it over, unscrews the sharp tip, and gets up and starts looking around.
Hmm.
What are you doing, Quill?
Do you need assistance, Doctor?
Sounds as if there is an insect in here. There are very precious chemicals and supplies in this room. I would very much like them to not be tampered with.
Of course. There's one thing I'm decent at, it's protecting. As I'll pull out my sword. That didn't sound like any small insect to me.
Bring up my ring and ask Persephone, what the fuck's happening? Is he dead? Ask him where he is.
Quill, is everything okay?
I would
You
assume
getting-
I'm more than 30 feet
Thanks.
away.
You are not only more than 30 feet away, you are surrounded by stone and walls.
Oh shit.
I thought it was 500 feet.
Yeah.
500 feet, it's really far.
But
Or it's like an inch or something.
barriers.
Yep.
He's not responding.
I'm gonna keep looking around. Tell me, Doctor. What was your daughter's name?
She was my moonlight. She was Luna. Luna Gamma.
As you hear this squish sound as a hand reaches out and catches something in the air, and hear this snap, and then a puff of smoke in his hand.
You got it.
And you can see as he catches this thing and the smoke begins to fade, he's standing in front of a portrait. This small golden framed, basically it's about like a foot and a half tall, foot wide, of a small girl with long black hair, pale skin, wearing a very nice little white dress.
That must be your moonlight.
Tell me, Elf. Why did you come here again?
I've seen people hurt. I've seen people longing for what they've lost. I haven't been home in 150 years, Dr. Gilner. From my understanding, that is but a drop in your basin of the time you spent here. Maybe there's something more. Maybe your moon will rise again.
Perhaps. As he turns to face you. And you can see now, as he's turning to... He still looks gaunt, his face is still sort of weary, but his eyes are no longer dark. They're bright and vibrant again. And you can see him just give you a soft smile. I believe I see a kindred spirit in you, Knight. I would like to show you something.
Of course.
Would you care to see? As he motions his hand over toward the painting, and then as he turns his head away from you, Quill, your eyes kind of blink a little bit. Almost seems like the red of his own eyes are kind of lingering in your vision, like when you've been staring at a light too long. And it sort of just stings in the back of your eyes, and you blink a few times, and you can see the walls around you sort of waver a little bit. They sort of change color. It almost seems like everything around you sort of shifting, as I'm going to need a wisdom save with advantage.
Oh, well, I'm dead.
Ooh. As you see a wonderful sight, Quill, as we cut away to a different scene.
Yay!
As some time passes, out in Garen's Well, you're still waiting, you're still calling into your ring, Persephone, Luna, waiting for Quill to answer, to respond, but there's nothing.
How long has it been?
It's been maybe about 20, 30 minutes or so. He's just gone in a little while ago.
Persephone, what about your bugs, things, whatever you summoned?
Yeah, one of you come back. I need a report. But to be totally honest, Luna, I've never actually sent anybody away and needed to give a separate command.
Oh
So-
my fucking god, Persephone.
It just says verbal command.
I feel like they need to.
So ah.
Hey, spies, come back!
Oh. Ugh.
We saw the guard leave, right?
Oh yeah, you saw the door shut and the guard walk out.
Alright, come on, Persephone, we're going in.
Okay.
Take my hand.
Oh, okay, as I take her hand.
And I'm going to envision the room that I was in that dream, where the piano was or is. I don't know if it's still there. I'm trying to see if I could visualize that place within the architect of the clock tower and try to dimension door to that room.
Okay. Remember this place, and you're holding to Persephone's hand. What does your dimension door look like again? You're using your cloak?
Yeah, so the cloak just kind of wraps around us and then we poof in a puff of smoke.
And this black fog sort of surrounds you, and you're gone, and you reappear suddenly back in this place, and it kind of hits you hard, Luna, because for a second you're imagining it, trying to think of this place, and you did manage to envision it, but what you do find is a sort of changed place you're now in. The ground is no longer nice and well kept. It's a bit maybe musky, dirty. The piano that you once played and recount now in your dream just hours and hours ago looks like it hasn't been touched in years. Place looks like it looks just the same, but maybe aged quite a bit, as you are both inside of Eric Gellner's second floor. And as you do, you're sort of stop in front of you. This tiny figure coming to view.
Oh,
Tiny
thank
little
God, you're okay.
We have to go now.
What do you mean we have to go now? What's
We
going
found
on?
stuff. We found stuff, but Scratch, he got killed.
Okay, one of my friends was in here, an elf with white hair. Did you see him? Did any of you see him?
Yeah, we did. He was talking to a guy in there, and then we kind of had to leave. They're downstairs, though, I think.
They're still downstairs. Well, we actually need to go get him. Do you know what they were saying?
They're talking about Moonlight and people and Luna, and he said he's going to show him something, and then I thought he said they saw me. It's after he crushed a scratch, and I came back up here. There's a picture down there, by the way. Don't go there. People die when they go near that picture.
People die when they go near the picture. You've done wonderful. All of you, thank you. And I'm going to drop my concentration and release them from this hell.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for this. Thank you for this great opportunity to serve you. Around here, ding, 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 ding. It's like a tiny knife drops to the ground.
So we got to go to the basement and save Quill.
Samantha's gonna be really pissed that we're not doing this with her.
Oh, but I did confirm that he does have a picture of you.
Color me happy, I guess.
Okay, so what are you guys doing?
Going downstairs.
Okay.
I'm gonna,
But
I'm gonna
I
try to
can-
remember which stair creaked.
Oh, but I am going to try also to cast Path Without Trace on us. Because I have
Okay.
it.
What's it look like when you cast Pass Without Trace?
Ugh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, what it looks like is similar to a lot of her other effects. It's almost like a faint, glittery spores just capture around them, glows for a short time before hiding. It really looks more like it would conceal them in a foresty area, but hey. You took the forest girl out of the forest.
So you're surrounded by all this foliage. It does sort of, if the colors do become a bit more colored in autumn, so just to make sure, maybe it's the season you're in, maybe it's the surroundings, but it does sort of help you a little bit if you're to press against the wall or lay flat on the ground. It might maybe disguise you if someone's looking over. Assuming you guys are trying to be quiet going down the stairs, though. That's what I was trying to really pick up on.
Yeah.
Unless you're just rushing down them.
No, we're going quietly. Mhm.
Yeah, so Luna being quiet. Both of you give me stealth checks. As Persephone, you're following after Luna, using your magic to help keep you quiet. Luna, you're basically trying your best to remember where those creaky steps are and what's the best place to put your foot down. You were a lot smaller last time when you came down these steps. 10. Okay, yeah. Fortunately, with some of that magic aiding, you guys are able to make it down these steps. And even one that you might think is creaky, Luna, sort of stepping down to and fro very carefully. You step on one, but the magic sort of surrounds this step, and what should creak and bend, it almost invigorates the step long enough for it to not make too much noise. As you guys make it down here to this basement. Where you at, girls? You at, girls? Girls. Come on, girls. You find yourselves make it down the flight of these stairs. You at, girl? Sort of dimly lit to you, Persephone, save for these little torches. But Luna, you can see quite clearly in this room with your eyes, your vision piercing through the dim light and catching everything. And you turn around the corner and you see that wall that looks like where Eric once stood in your dream, but this time you do see someone there. It's not a person, at least not alive. It's not a person ready to talk to. It's actually almost like a mirror in time. You see a portrait of yourself hanging on that wall. Oh.
Fuck, Quill's not down here. Okay, well, we just have to break it to Gregory and Samantha that Quill got killed and move on with our life.
What? We're not even going to look?
I mean, you heard what your thing said. When we touch the picture, we die. So,
Yes, but where
I
would
feel
the
like maybe
body
there's
be then?
the way to the lab we assumed was down here. Maybe it's like behind this picture. So try to take the picture down.
Okay. Persephone's gonna go over to it and she's gonna reach out for the picture. And she remembers seeing Gelner touch the wall in the dream, so she's just gonna put her hand over Luna's little face.
Give me Are you just touching it, do nothing else? Just putting your hand on it, or what are you doing?
Yeah, first thing, I just kind of put my hand on it, see if anything happens. Because she doesn't know if it's like a button or what to expect.
Yep, you put your hand against the portrait for a bit, and it just feels like you're putting against this canvas. Feels really dry. Feels like it kind of creaks beneath your hand as it's been there for a while.
I
What
meant
do I
take the
got?
picture down.
Okay.
Okay, well, you should be very specific about these sort of things. As I
I
go to
feel like
take the
I
picture
literally
down.
said take the picture down.
I'm really liking this arc. Persephone and Luda just bickering.
Yes.
Okay.
Stephanie goes to take down the picture.
As you take the picture, it's almost like locked in place at first. At least that there were several hooks sort of keeping it in place, but sort of jostling a little bit, you find a spot where you can sort of lift it up, pull it up, and slide it up the wall. And you see mostly just a blank, flat stone wall. Except, well, give me an investigation check.
Ooh. Where's that button?
You see, it's very faint, but it's definitely there. There's a small, like very thin, like maybe half an inch tall, maybe about 5 inches wide, like tiny rectangular like indentation in the actual stone. And looking past it, it looks like it's almost like a grate of sorts, like a vent.
I think I found something. Can I is it small enough for me to try to put my little pinky fingers in and
You
jostle
can
it?
kind of stick your finger. Your hands are very small, I'm assuming, so you could probably stick your fingers inside. It looks like it's really small. Like you have to be like an insect to get through there, or like it doesn't look like people are meant to get through. But like you can kind of see through it. It's kind of hard to tell just by squinting your eyes. You have to look around a little deeper.
Okay, so it's like a vent. I could try to go on ahead on my own, but that would probably be a really bad idea because if he took Quill, he could probably take me, especially if I was a bug that he could squish.
Well, let's see. Can I see through the vent?
Yeah, with your eyes pressed up against that, sort of pushing Persephone out of the way, taking control of the situation. Yeah, blinking through here, you see quite a bit actually down this. Looks like a hallway of sorts behind this thing. This thick, maybe like 5 feet of stone goes deep into this wall, this small little slit, and you can kind of make out some shapes. Give me a straight up perception check. See what all you can see. Ooh. As you look down, your vision carries quite a ways, but it goes about maybe 50 feet before hitting a wall, or at least an incline or ramp of sorts going down. It looks like the ceiling, it looks like this place goes deeper underground. Maybe a set of steps, kind of hard to tell from your angle. But it looks like the path ahead continues on about 50 feet before going down. But you do notice one thing. A very slight shift in shadow to the left, where it looks like along the wall, maybe some long object fixed to one side. Doesn't seem to be getting off any light, so probably not a sconce. Looks like maybe a lever of sorts on the other side of this wall.
Okay, Persephone. So I know we can both get in. Problem. We're probably walking into our deaths right now, and we don't have Javen, Samantha, or Gregory. And I don't want to leave Quill, but I feel like we really need the other three.
You're probably right.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? All 3 of you die?
Yeah!
You know what? That sounded interesting. Let's bring 3 new characters. So I'm going to... What do you think we should do, Persephone? He probably won't, if this is an indication as I gesture towards the picture, he probably won't kill me, and probably won't kill you guys by extension. But I don't know what's going to happen.
He doesn't even know that you're with us. But
When I come say Quill, he'll know. So if we don't go to Quill, he'll probably kill Quill. If we do go, it'll cause some other problems, but we probably won't die.
I don't like the idea of leaving him there, but I don't think it would do anybody much good if none of us come back from the clock tower either.
Why don't you, I don't know, summon more? They don't know what this place looks like.
No, and they are very particular.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure they can find Javen, Red Dragonborn in this town. It's kind of rare. And Javen will know where the others are.
You're right. All right, so Persephone's going to take that and grab her crystal. My friends, I need somebody who is quick on their feet. A messenger.
I mean, we could probably just run to you guys, but
To seek out a friend. Is that going to... Yeah, sure, why not? We can ambush him.
Hold my action to attack. Hold my action to attack.
Yeah, right? It's like holding. So I'm asking for, I said a creature that was fast.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, CRs.
You know one.
I never think that.
You know
I
one.
do.
It's a cheetah.
I do. I just
You're
need to know
quickly.
its thing. So I can at least give you that much. Yeah, give me... I could do 2 of CR1s.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that.
All right. You summon forth your magic, your crystal glowing again. This time the light comes out, and actually, before it gently floats out, it seems to shoot off in one direction, almost bounce off the walls harmlessly. Like, no sound. It seems like these things would be making a mess, but they're actually just sort of rebounding everywhere, and then eventually land on the ground in front of you before they rise up as these 2 little figures take shape in front of you. Small, dark purple skin, almost bluish in hue, and long, winding white hair, as they actually look... One of them, in a while, looks a little familiar. As you see 2 quicklings appear, and one of them turns its head towards you, and you recognize him. Oh, that's Dart.
Oh my god!
Wait, what am I doing? Oh, okay. Looks like we have a little mission on hand. Oh, hello, friend. It's you. Good to see you. All right. We feel busy. We forgot what to do. All right, no sitting around. What do you need us to do? What do you got to do? We have something to kill? I mean, we don't kill too much. We just pull pranks and have fun. But there's always to kill. What do you want us to do?
Shut up.
I'm gonna take my amulet. I'm gonna remember what the Church of Sune looks like, and I'm gonna hold it out to one of them. We have a friend waiting in this church. I need you to go to him. His name is Gregory. He's very big and burly, very strong looking.
Hmm?
Tell him he needs to come to the clock tower immediately.
Okay. To the clock tower. Where's the clock tower?
We're in the clock tower.
Okay, to us. To the clock tower. Okay. I'll go find him. I mean, in the moment you say that, you see him just sort of turn, like almost cartoonishly, like angle his body to get ready to run, and then a bunch of supplies, things in the room sort of shift a little bit as wind just surrounds him, and he's gone.
And then I do the same, but for did I know where Javen was going?
I mentioned going to the tavern. You guys sort of conferred to each other.
So I'm going to put the image of the mangy hound from when we went to it and show it to the other quickling. And I'm looking for our dragonborn friend. His name is Javen. He should be around this tavern. Tell him the same thing, to come to the clock tower.
All right. Clock tower?
And find Javen.
And find Samantha. She
Samantha.
should be at the
What's
mayor's
Samantha?
house. Samantha is our friend. I'm going to project her disguised image into the amulet.
All right. Find Javen, Dragon Man. Find Samantha, that thing. Okay.
Yes.
Takes time. We gotta quick. Okay, go. Immediately off the door, gone.
Very particular.
And then
Are
here,
the Fae.
like some
They broke
shattering
the
glass
window.
upstairs.
Uh-oh.
As we cut back to Garen's Well, the morning getting on for the first hour of the morning, actually. As looks like Javen's sort of heading back from the inn. He's been hanging out for a little while, just finally got some information. Samantha is now you'll probably be back on your way to the church. Seems like you had everything you needed. Gregory
I'm
just
headed to the
hanging
well.
Okay, heading off to the well.
I
Gregory,
decided to just take a walk and just head as far outside of town as I possibly could.
I decided.
I'm actually in Brokenridge right
I
now.
just sprinted south. I'm done. I'm done.
I'm in
Ran.
Oakwell trying to find the dude's long lost brother.
As you guys, some of you still hanging at the church, some of you meandering around town. You see something. Especially those meandering, Javen and Samantha, you see something that actually catches the eyes of the guards and some of the townsfolk. You see a spray of water. This jet through every puddle and every little pond of rainwater in this town, as it looks like something is just shooting across the ground like an arrow until it stops right in front of you, Javen. A tiny little gray, purple-skinned creature with long, frazzled white hair. Are you Javen? You look like Javen. Javen, go to the clock tower. That's my message. Okay, go there. Bye. The spray of water gone.
What? Huh? Huh? What?
It's like, what's a clock tower?
Yep, same thing with Samantha. Sort of making your way towards the well of the town, looking maybe for more answers. You see this jet of water across puddles before this long spray of water coats you and your cloak as this tiny little thing stands in the middle of it. You're Samantha.
They just hold an Eldritch Blast pointed at this thing. What? What?
Go to the clock tower. Bye.
A spray of water.
Oh my god! I just released the Eldritch Blast into the ground, obviously missing.
Oh my god!
As I start to prestidigitate myself and then just start heading towards the clock tower.
And Gregory, what are you doing in the church for like the first hour?
I am actually pulling out my book and having a read. Don't have a ton of chance to do that, and I'm just trying to get something to get my mind off it because my mind's just racing. So decide to.
Okay, just taking some time to read your book. Your neck feels a little better today, actually. Maybe just getting some sort of rest, maybe help the soreness, or maybe it's just you getting used to it.
Read my Altrudius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at you. As you hear
the book.
You can see outside the window of the stained glass, most of it broken, this spray of water almost rising up in a line around to the front door, and then you're...
Hello? The hell? So I get up and shove the book in my bag, run over and try to pull open. Sounds like somebody's bashing into it. Sounds like a kid is like.
It sounds like someone's like kind of kicking at the door, like really fast though. Like if someone was knocking really low, but then the moment the door was open, the door sort of like gets pushed like a gust, and then up you hear this tiny little like ticklish sensation as something runs up to your chest, and you look down and you see it's like an elf or something, but tiny, like really small, kind of familiar now that you're looking at it. You played with one of these things before. You're out in the woods and involved, the loosening of a belt and someone falling over looking like a fool, but one of these little bay things. Weird that it's in this haunted town. You're Gregory. This is the church.
Yeah, look, what in the hell? We ain't got time for this.
No, go to the church. Go to the clock tower. Go to the clock tower. Persephone needs you. Thing happened. Gotta go.
Hell. Alright. I turn around, grab my bag with my shit in it, and I start running out. See Nero, but looks like he's he probably saw the thing running around as well outside.
Mm-hmm.
I hop on his back, feel him sort of whinge under my weight, but we head out.
Yep, and as you guys can see, just as quickly, like you can see all around the town as you're kind of trying to gather your things, figure out where to go, just sprays of water as these things, two little creatures skating along the ground, eventually make their way back to the front of the clock tower. You hear again.
Did they break another window?
And back at the bottom,
tell them not to break private property?
As they slide back down the stairs.
We did it. How fast was that? 5 minutes. Not bad.
As either ship and just high five each other.
No, not bad at all. Wow. Thank you.
That's why we're couplings.
You're dismissed. As I drop my concentration to see them off.
Wait, no.
What?
Disappear.
Back to Oblivion with you.
Back to the Feywild, come on.
Nope.
No,
Infinite
that
death.
Yeah, we saw one of them was actually dark.
dark.
Yeah.
Summoned once and then they're dead. They're me.
What happens if I go back?
The existence is just pain and suffering to them.
As you guys, for some time, maybe gathering your things. Some of you a bit slower than others. Some of you have a horse beneath you to ride on. You guys make it to the front of the clock tower where it looks like, no one seems to be surrounding it. It doesn't look like it's pretty suspicious. You do see on the lower floor, there is like a small window that has like 4 distinct, very tiny, like bullet-sized holes going through it. Someone just threw some rocks through this thing,
Yeah,
but
Matilda used the ring to try to get a ride from Gregory, assuming that things everything was going the way it should, like just pinging for him, like trying to get a horse Uber because I can't run all the way there. It's me. I'm definitely not running all the
Okay.
way there.
Okay.
Swing
Yeah.
by and pick her up if we ever get within 500 feet of each other.
As you do.
Steven probably making it the quickest, being at the mangy hound, which isn't too far from the doctor's office, and being quite quick on his feet, realizing there might be something up.
Too am a horse.
You are the horse.
I am the
As
horse.
you
I am my own horse.
As you make your way to the front of this clock tower and trying to figure out what to do, you see the rest. You see the horse, Gregory, riding with Samantha, eventually making it, running through puddles, splashing along the way. Most of the people it seems like fortunately, through all the strange goings-ons in this town, especially with the rising puddles, some of the guards and townsfolk seem to be mostly distracted with the strange tsunami that seemed to have run through Garenswell, just trying to figure out what the hell happened. Especially during the day. As you guys find yourself in the front of the clock tower.
Front door. Yep.
I don't know what the hell.
The insight to panic.
The little things come here.
Yep.
Y'all know what the hell's going on?
Persephone probably fucked something up.
It looks like they broke down the door. We heading in, right? Yeah, we.
I was waiting on y'all.
Looks like they went through the windows as I go up to check the door to see if it's unlocked.
Yeah, door's unlocked.
You're gonna make a racket if something happens out here. Leave you to it. So I'll push open the door if it's if we're starting gathering around it.
Oh yeah. You open up the door, you go inside. Yeah, it looks like the doctor's office. A bit different looking now in the daytime, but you find yourself entering into his abode. Steps a bit heavy, but you do hear the soft sounds. Maybe some of you, Javen especially, and I guess Samantha with your expert increased passive perception. The soft maybe whisperings, unless you're actually yeah, the magic would have dropped. Hearing the soft whisperings, it looks like people down further in this building.
So we can
Yeah.
hear some movement further down.
A little bit, like down into the basement. Looks like a set of steps that lead further down, and then beyond that, further down. Although, yeah, Gregory, as you're getting down deeper, it seems like this place is getting pretty dark. As eventually you guys make your way down here. Let's put everybody on here. Put everybody on here.
Yeah, I'm making pretty quick steps, but before we start actually heading down, I'll put my finger up to my mouth. Go, "Percy, you down there? What the hell's going? Hello?"
Are they within range, or is the stone wall still blocking?
As you guys make it into the building, you can actually hear that voice suddenly pop up. Hello?
Oh my gods, Gregory! Everybody, come down to the basement.
Hell, yeah, we'll be there in a second.
And
So we're heading down.
I am just going to hold out to my blade and just cast some light on to light the way as I'm just trying to find her as quick as I. On my torch at. Torch. There you are.
Step. Howdy.
Okay,
way
so
down the stairs.
we have a
You
slight
see Luna
problem.
and Persephone. And that's it.
So we
That's
have
cool.
Yeah, that's the slight problem. The doctor.
I'm fine. Don't worry
Quill
about. I'm
came-
fine. I'm
You're
dead,
saying
but
that.
I'm fine.
I mean, I hear his ghost, so he's obviously dead. What the hell
What
happened?
happened?
Quill came into the clock tower to distract Dr. Gellner while I sent some of my sprites to investigate. And we hadn't seen him for probably about 10-20 minutes. So we came in to figure out what happened. And the sprites think Quill might be dead. But they did see him go and disappear through the picture. And there's more hallway behind that picture.
That picture.
Great.
That picture.
Is that the picture that looks like Luna?
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like it. Looks like a tiny dark-haired girl. That now they're kind of looking at it. I mean, doesn't look like
See
her
the
quite now.
similarity.
Yeah, mostly the face, although yeah.
So we.
So we go through the picture.
Hold on, I got this. I will peer through the vent, get a good line of sight as I will just walk through that hole.
Ooh.
Well,
Nice.
now
As you-
Luna's gone. What the hell?
As you look into the darkness, see Luna's form get consumed by this blackness and sort of pull itself through this hole and vanish.
Oh no.
It would not surprise me if she's simply going to the other side of the door to open it for us.
As you appear on the other side,
I
Luna.
do other.
You go to
I
the
go
side,
down
you see
without
this
them,
lever.
don't I?
You go to the other side of this door. It's a bit far, but you did manage to squeeze just through, get to it. You turn around and you look. You can see quite fine in this area. It looks like a... Strangely enough, the stone flooring around in this workshop and around the walls around you seem quite different, as if they were two separate made structures. And the next to you is this long lever. You take and you pull down, and in front of you a lot, you hear as the wall in front of you slides into the ground. And instead, you see Luna, lit by your light of your sword, Gregory, standing there holding a lever down.
I thank the gods. All right, so we going then, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to.
He's taken a member of our group as best we can assess, which is not a good thing.
No, not at all.
Let's get to getting then.
Yeah.
I guess probably calling out to his ass ain't gonna do much. He's gotta find him now.
If anything, it'll attract unwanted attention, Timberson.
Try calling him to whisper through the ring. I mean, I don't know if we're blocked by anything.
That's true. If
That
we're
magic
within
is not
range.
very strong. Thick amounts of stone or metal, or even wood, can block its incantations.
True, but if there's nothing blocking us, then
Get through the
it might
hole.
work.
I'll lead on ahead, but y'all keep trying for him, all right?
Greg, are you okay? Are you dying? Are we okay?
To the
As
hole.
you guys...
Something got caught up in Gregory's nose, but he thought he needed to sneeze, but apparently not. Then he heads down the hallway.
Oh, that might have been a
Smashing
leftover
its
Sprite.
token against the map.
Oh god, Sprite dust in my nose! Ah.
Yep.
Take
As
a
you guys
good-
make your way down this long, dark corridor, it's kind of eerie in this place. Again, like as you guys start, some of you can see better with this glowing light around you, thanks to Gregory's sword. Others can see quite okay with your dark vision. The stone, like it looks like in here, the stone floors are not quite dirty. They just look old and cracked. They look like they've been here for quite some time, and kind of hard to believe that deep under the ground of this small town, there's this much architecture. It doesn't. You're trying to find the purpose of this place, but it doesn't seem like it serves anything of a lab or of even just a basement or a catacomb. It just seems like the only person who probably recognize this in any respect would be Luna. Mostly from your recent adventure into that place of Gloom Rot. It looks like you walked out of this basement and just a few steps in here. It's like you're walking into the dungeon of a castle. And eventually, you find a set of steps about 50 feet ahead of you that lead down several steps, going deeper and deeper into the darkness. And at the end of these steps, only about like 100 feet down or so, you can see the glistening of what looks like maybe polished stone or metal peeking around the corners of this basically approaching room. And as you approach, you can see quite clearly with the light the light burning upon them that they're statues, shaped like armor, shaped like knights, holding their swords in hand and wait. And at the end of this hallway, as you enter in, you see out of these 6 knights, you see a 7th standing before a large pair of doors, back to you, gleaming in silver metal.
Cut its head off.
You find yourselves standing in this dark corridor, entering and finding your friend, Kuldor.
It's all dark. Oh, no, wait, there we are.
Wait, what the hell? What's going on?
And Quill, you hear the voice of the people coming. That's them. And you turn around and face them, and you see it's the Valiant Vanguard of the 7. Hard to remember what they were. And you're all in a dark place. Huh. Quill, you don't remember how you got here.
Mhm.
Quill, what happened?
Is that the only thing I don't remember? Is how I got here?
You remember you were talking to the doctor and he wanted to show you something, and then now you're here.
Well, what's going on?
I was talking to the doctor. He wanted to show me something. Now I'm here.
What did he show you?
Picture of a little girl. That's all I really remember.
My sprites thought you were dead.
Where is he, Quill? Where's the doctor?
I don't know.
Oh! There is something you remember, Quill.
Oh, there's something I remember.
You don't remember what you saw, but you know it's deeper in here. And you feel like you need to see it again. You need to show them. It's something really important. Something about Luna.
There's something deeper within these caverns. It's about you, Luna. You need to see it.
The hell is it?
It is a sight to behold.
You couldn't just come back to tell us?
Hold on, that answer was not specific. What's so fucking ever? What is it?
Follow me.
That's still not answering the fucking question.
Quill! Hell!
Whoa.
Start chasing after his ass.
As I was talking with Quill, did I notice something a little off about him?
Roll me an insight check.
Yes.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
No, stop. I'm supposed to be good at these.
He seems there is definitely something off. Maybe just how strange the situation was. He was in there and then now he's in this place. The only thing that really doesn't seem to add up is how did he get through the thing? I mean, I guess Quill can teleport. But how do you know how to get? It's kind of confusing and maybe it's distracting you, but Quill just seems just about as confused as you are. But he does have something certain that you don't. And it's that there's something important in these tombs. As Quill reaches out and takes a hand to the doors, begins to pry them open, that is where we will end tonight's session.
Oh my god!
Bwomp, 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 bwomp.
One way or another, we were gonna get here.
You're welcome.
One way or another, I'm gonna find you.
Nope.
I'm gonna get you.
You ready for the Elder Brain?
I'm ready for Vampire Daddy to come out of nowhere and give us the good suck.
Look, I'm calling it now. Your dad is an elephant. Sorry.
An elephant?
Even better.
Yeah, why not?
He's just slowly metamorphizing the entire town bit by bit. And that's why
Yep.
people are slowly but surely forgetting things, because Omen's running with the second edition version, where it takes like 3 months for you to get transformed or whatever.
They're all turning into mind players now. I don't actually believe that, but that'd be pretty
That'd be a really good plot.
Open the door, this giant brain. We're like, oh, well, all right.
Get him!
Oh.
Isn't it a sight to behold? Look at it! Look at the size of him!
He's
Look
so
at that
big!
one coming, did
So
you, fuckhead?
Eat the blood! It was all just a red herring! Get it? Red herring blood? Ha 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 ha!
You've solved my joke puzzle.
Well,
Your
I,
reward is being assimilated.
I certainly hope you all enjoyed
Assimilation.
tonight's session, as there is more wonderful D&D to behold on Lionhead Gaming, as we will be back next week with Kingdoms of the South on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, as DM'd by Mr. John, as we continue on now with, an endeavor to shore up the Apex Alliance's war chest, so to speak, before we get into the thick of it with this whole campaign against the Stormhorns. So be sure to tune in this upcoming Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern here on Lionhead Gaming to see that. And we should be returning for Song of Rapture also on Thursday, but be sure to follow on Twitter to see if there's any changes or updates or modifications
Can't
to
see
that
it,
schedule.
but I'm doing my side-to-side head nod. Which
Oh, that's
means
a no. That's
should be
no.
should be on. We'll see.
Oh wait, side to side. That
got a
means
dungeon to
this
do.
is-
No, John.
We
That's
will
side to
be
side.
coming on back next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. If everything goes according to plan.
He's doing the Egyptian.
Oh God, we'll be coming back for this cool, interesting dungeon and all the mysteries and monsters and hopefully answers within for Song of Rapture next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be tweeting out any changes to either one of those days or their times or what have you, any modifications that you need to be made aware of, so you can come on down and watch it live here on Lionhead Gaming. Other than that, be sure to check out our Discord server, which is, there's some links to it in the chat. I'll post another one right now, and also to the Twitter, where you can come hang, talk about the episodes, talk about tabletop role-playing games, talk about memes, video games, anime, whatever you want to talk about. There's a channel for it, most likely. And you can come hang out with us and ask questions about characters or whatever you want. So be sure to check it out and hop on in when you get a second. And also follow on Twitter so you can get updates, changes. You can see the kinds of things that I'm interested in on Twitter and retweet and share and talk about. So if you want to do that, you can come on down and do that. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out tonight, for following the channel, and for joining us on this, the latest verse in the Song of Rapture. Other than that, I want to thank you all again for watching, and I hope to see you next time. And as always, may your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Toodles.
Lady-o.